check, radio check. Lurk work is in the AO. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Glad you can join us today for another round of Motorsport Manager 2027. Bit of a recap. We finally started the new season back in the lowest rung of competition, the European Racing Series. Unfortunately, that means we have a weak car again. The good news is we have a better driver in the form of Jurovic over here, who is currently third in the overall driver championships, while our veteran, Perez, who is pretty much on the way out, is at 11th. Probably spend the next two seasons as a backup sooner or later, since her stats are already dropping. It's like Bosu from last season. Hopefully she can keep her skills for at least 2 more seasons so that we don't have to look for another one, or rather a replacement driver right away. So a bit of an overview. The stats we got were thanks to Jurovic scoring a podium start, or rather a podium finish in the first race of the season. And although we did have to drop down lower ranks in the previous leg because of wheel errors or tire errors, we still managed to keep afloat and are currently third overall in the team's championship, which is a current target. Hopefully we won't suffer much in the future, and we don't advance too quickly, because otherwise we'd be done. Anyway, we did check our previous runs for. We did already check all the email. Currently developing a new engine so that both of our drivers will have decent engines, and then we'll save up towards the end of the season so that we can build illegal parts that we can move over for next season. The road car factory is now underway and will be available after this season. 45 weeks to go. This is a major investment after all. You can clearly see big dip right at the start of the season there after we got our cash infusion from the boss. Hopefully, things will not be bad once we get back here, and I really hope we don't go into the red before the season is over, because we will have some trouble getting money back, or getting a new car back up, until the road car factory pays in dividends, which is not going to happen that easily. We also want to avoid getting promoted right next season, because most of the buildings we have are pretty low, and we don't have some of these critical parts, critical structures rather, that would be required to improve our other parts in the future. Although I might want to invest in a test track as soon as things become available. Which I can travel freely here instead of clicking on these different parts. At least our design center and factory are decent enough that the parts production is faster. The other option for building money is the theme park, but apparently it's not as good as far as feedback, or rather return of investment is concerned, when compared to the motor car factory, or the road car factory rather. So you could only build the theme park if you already have a good amount of income coming in from sponsors and championships and whatnot. So best to keep that area clean until you're sure that you have the money to pay for it, since it's going to be a lot more expensive instead of I mean the profit won't really be worth it. Hang on, let me just check something real quick. Something came up on my feed. Sorry about that. Just weird stuff on my feed. Anyway, speaking of weird stuff, not exactly related to the stream right now, but I just heard that there's apparently a full release of Front Mission 3 coming up in the next 3 days, coming up on multiple platforms, including Steam. I was not informed that it was almost ready to go. Last I heard about the project was 2, 3 years ago, and then suddenly they're telling us that they're ready to drop the full version of the remake in a couple of days. Something to look forward to. Unfortunately, I still do not have the hardware to handle any of that. I would have loved to play it as soon as it dropped, but well, not exactly right there financially and technically, so we'll have to wait for that next time. Still don't get why we're considered to have the worst drivers on the grid. I don't like that. Oof, look at that. Compare that to the other guys. They got better fuel efficiency, but awful tire heating. They're not the best in tire wear, though. Octane, also not the best in tire wear. Boat. Buena. Vendor. Ooh, look at the stats on these guys. Dang. Oh, Boa Esperanza? They're currently 7th. Okay. Our pit crew is absolutely awful. At least right now. We're way behind everybody else. I really don't know why. I think we should consider moving forward now. A bit of a scouting report. See what we got from the scout center. Carmel Polyak would be one of the weakest drivers. Her potential is good, though, and given a chance to improve, she can certainly become one of the better ones in the championship. She's very consistent, but she's not one for braking, which is going to be a bit of a problem in the long run, especially since a lot of the higher end driving courses in the Asia Pacific, the Asia Pacific Super Cup, if we ever go up to there, will be loaded with corners and chicanes, and I do not want somebody who's not good with braking. Even with the 2% growth rate, which is still pretty low. She's a team player, though, which would have been really nice for our current setup. Djokovic seems to have a problem with being unfriendly, and most of her driver traits are awful since they're temporary and all that. I'm hoping she doesn't suddenly grow a awful personality trait, just like what happened to Vosu towards the end when he suddenly got a resource hog thing that pretty much dropped the performance capabilities of Perez. Fortunately, because of that, her stats peaked at pretty bad intervals. Smoothness with Ariole, that would have been really nice on a frontline thing. But Perez as a mentor is at least helping the other drivers get some better stats in. Like here, for Judovic getting 7% growth per week for her smoothness, which will make her tires much more durable in the long run. Oh, hang on. Oh, this is interesting. Hang on. Just taking some notes. Don't mind me. You can probably spend this brief time before we start getting into the hostilities, to look at the news about Front Mission 3. I was actually checking out some of the screenshots and some of the game footage, and I think it was very interesting, especially since now it's gone into full 3D and stuff. Like, remember, Front Mission 3 was a PSX title, which means that much of the hardware limitations were there. But it was still, how shall we say this, visually stunning for its time? Hmm, hang on. Anyway, I think that should be enough checking for now. Let's go and continue on. Flores Dare. Not much happening right now, I think. Parts are still under construction. Improvements are gonna take a while. 7 days before the race. Very close there. But at least the reliability will be okay. And the parts performance, though, are a bit under question. Van Dort, West, World Motorsport Championship. She's the lead driver. Oh, look at the stats on these guys. Dang. Very interesting look there. Okay, scouting is done. Let's see what we got. Aria Corco would be one of the best drivers. She has a decent amount of potential, which should help us see some improvement. She's very good at cornering, but she's not very fit. Unfortunately, she's already been signed up as a main driver by Magyar Engineering, which I believe is an endurance race team? No, it's a GT. Well, she is one that drives for all series anyways, so. Look at that braking stat, though. Very nice. Cornering's good. Very consistent. She's also very smooth, which would be really great with the tires and all that. Good focus, and I think adaptability is decent, but absolutely awful. Fitness, not good, and feedback and overtaking is awful because she's a bit of a scaredy cat. Understandable, really. Especially since GT cars can get a bit slippery when you do some changes to the weight and all that. Let's see what happened in Beijing. Nothing yet. Let's run that event. We're going to get. I think we've lost Beijing in the series for this season, so we don't have to worry about that for now. Naito once again dominating the grid here. Absolutely crazy. What, the 60-second gap? What? It's always funny how random the gaps are in simulated events that you are not a part of, because, good lord, 60-second gap? How? Anyway, that's a 1-2 for Steinman, with Fatima Tarasenko scoring second. And now Steinman is dominating both the drivers and team championships, with Naito and Tarasenko on a 1-2. Only Balcazar trying to stay with Rossini in the top three. Husted, who managed to score his first 4 points of the season, or rather his second set of points for the season, is down at fifth. Windsor Racing's Makarova is at fourth with 8. Running out the top 6 is Koivalainen, the ever loyal Panther driver, who has 4 points to his name. Steinman is currently dominating with 34 points, way above Scuderia. Rossini is only up at 16th, and Windsor rounds up the top 3 with 11. Not exactly a good spot for the once formidable Windsor Racing team. And speaking of once formidable, Panther Racing is down in 5th, tied with Keyta Sport with 4 points to their name. Chariot still having a lot of trouble staying in the fight, but they're ninth. Van Dort has a chance of dropping down to the Asia Pacific Super Cup if they continue this poor performance. Still no points for both of those teams. And Boa Esperanza, who have just joined in this season after being promoted from the Asia Pacific Super Cup, are down at 7th, but they don't have any points to their name either. So it's a good chance. They still have a good chance to stay in the middle here and don't and avoid relegation, while Van Dort is at risk of dropping down. On our side of things, we got the race in 10 days. The car, the production for the new part is almost done in a day. Oh, hang on. Uh, that anyway, back to the part. We've got one more day to go. The parts are the engines are about ready to push up, which is nice. Now, what I need to worry about is the stats on these guys. Okay. Sakanabe's Mew is not getting any progress at all. Well, the progress for his stats are a bit slow. He's still at 25, but his star stats are almost ready to go. Unlock what's the next one? Sweetest spots. We don't really need sweetest spots right now since it's for qualifying and we don't have qualifying here. I do need to get these parts done much better. Eh. What else I need to worry about? Jennifer Legg is the only one in the staff that still has a lot of potential to go. Williams has already gone up. She's already 39. Her stats are slowly going up, though. Still need some. I might have to look for a new team mechanic sooner or later. No, team designer sooner or later. So I think they last a bit longer than that. Let's go ahead and push forward. There it is. There's a new engine. Thank you, Miss Williams. See who wants this. Happy. Happy. What do you mean it's a reserve? Which one is better in terms of reliability, though? Or at least performance-wise? Okay, so this and the good engine is much better for performance. I think we can improve that. Now, in terms of durability, Okay, already pretty good so far. I think we can focus on getting that guy fixed first. One day before the race. I need it to be reliable so that it doesn't conk out. It's currently one of the best engines on the field, so I think that's good. Now, I want to know if I want to get another great engine or if I want to save up for an improved engine for next season, because we're already at great and we can't really evolve further because we're only using a level 1 race course, or test track rather. Oh, hang on. Oh, cripes, I think I missed something. Hang on. Anywho, where were we? Right, push forward. Set up a new part. I think we can probably set up a new illegal part for next season now. And then we can build up on that later. Since I'm pretty sure we're gonna lose some more money still. Now I'm just gonna put this guy here. This guy here. This guy here. That gives me one more slot for production, so that I need to do something about that. That's a lot of red zoning, though. I need something with less red zone. Yes. Oh, that's insane. I can go with that. It's gonna cost a pretty penny, though. Hopefully, if we get a new sponsor soon, our marketability will be enough to give us at least somebody who gives a pretty decent either bonus or upfront payment for now. So let's save that up. That engine will be Judovish's, or probably, no, yeah, that engine will be Judovish's next season, I think. Probably build another illegal engine next time. Oh, hang on. Whoa, what the heck was that noise? Alright, the main issue is that once we build another set of illegal parts, we're gonna lose more money. Oh, sure. I need. No, I'm not really one for Beijing. Yeah, already. They want to bring back Beijing next season? I don't feel like it. We've already got a lot of roads to worry about. Okay, what we got? 20 lap race. Much shorter than last time, so it's going to be one lap, I suppose. And of course, it's going to be bone dry, so we won't have the chance to run around with the wet tires, which is going to be a bit annoying, but that's expected. High speed, so yeah, we're going for engines here, but we need to be a bit durable. Looks like our tire wear is still pretty decent, but we need to make it better next season, because that's awful. Alright, here comes the voting. And China, Dragon Racing just got their new factory, but it's just at level 2. Wow! It's this career mode has been running for so long, and Dragon Race Team just got their new their factory up to level 2. That's kind of sad, actually. Okay, what are you gonna? Okay. Wait, what did she want? The staff center? I mean, sure, we can get it to full, but I don't have the money for it right now. Maybe once we get the income from the road factory, we can upgrade it a bit. Just a bit. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You're still with us for a couple more seasons at least, so I think you'll benefit from it very greatly. Shoot, sorry about that. Something just came up again. Ugh. Spent 30 minutes doing nothing but idle chatter and all that. Anyway, time to. What? Oh no, the chairman again. See what we got. We're predicted to finish second. I don't like this. When they say something like this, it usually happens. It usually is the opposite. Yes, yes, I know our money is pretty much in the red right now, boss. But that was because of an important investment that I'm sure you'll love in the future. Heck no. I ain't voting for that. Let's give it an extra 3 just in case. How much do I have? I got 6. I can afford to go for 3. Get to the end. Sorry, boys, but I got more voting power than all of y'all combined. Haha. Yep. Maybe this will be another changeless season with all the votes being rejected. That'll be funny. It did happen in the past, and everybody knows we're going. That was funny. Everybody knows how bad that happened afterwards. Ooh. Okay. Prove the capabilities of these guards. It's not the illegal part yet, thankfully. Good. Good. Pretty good. 490 base with a 510 maximum, while the current Great engine has a 522 base with a 530 maximum performance rating. I think they'll be happy. Okay, that should be it. Let's save up. Honestly, I want to get the highest sponsorship bonus just so we can get some money back, even though we're not exactly up there. Still, above, it's Transantarctic second or above with a $1.4 million in bonuses. Look at all that money. Next year's car is $416, $416,000 per race. Okay, hang on. Is anything? Let's go to Dubai. It's going to be the zigzag one, which means we're going to be using the bridge instead of using the sprint course, which is down here. Just a couple of chicanes and a few hairpins, not too wild. So it's going for full speed. You go. Perez is still pretty low on feedback though, so a little more downforce would be nice. A little less downforce would be nice actually. Okay. Suspension stiffness to make it a bit harder. Tire choice would once again be medium, since we want them to be driving for longer than most of these people would want. Some speed back up, a bit more suspension would be nice. Also, go for mediums. Alright, let's go for practice, people. Hopefully we don't have to fix them that much. 12 minutes on the road, let's see how it goes. Judovic showing up some pretty nice stuff on the outlap. Nice race lines there. Going through that chicane without much of an issue. Here comes a hairpin and the big bend. Good race lines from Ario as well. Judovic with some good acceleration there, making the most out of her smoothness. Although tire heating is a bit higher now, even with normal driving. Just crossed the bridge. Coming into the home corner. Let's start that flying lap and see if there's any complaints. Okay, his handling is spot on. That's great. Oh, that's an Ozer driver. Perfect gear ratios. Looks like they're happy about that for now. 9.5 minutes, but the setup knowledge is still pretty low. Ario Leonet coming up with a pretty good personal sectors there. But Judovic is not far behind. Let's see how the other drivers go with that. Ooh, Ario going for consistency here. Pretty good numbers. Yeah, just across the bridge, coming on the home corner into the first flag, and it looks like Judovic will be going first for this one. Okay, running the wrong arrow setup nonetheless. I think I'll have to switch her out around the 6-minute mark. Hornblad now snatching first. Pretty convincing lead there. Ooh, there's Bingham saying that she'll have that one. But their lead is a bit tiny, actually. Oh, never mind. Yeah, it's very close right now, with just tenths of a second in the leads. I think it's feeling superb. Gear ratios are just right. Alright, I'm bringing Judovic in for this one. Ario Leonet has now dropped to 10th. Jurovic is at 7th. I think we're looking at a pretty decent setup right now. So just a few tweaks might be enough to get us in with some good numbers. We just need durability so we can stay on the road for longer and not need to change as much as the other teams. So I feel like they're going to also just need one stop, just like us. We're just going for durability now. Okay, let's see what Judovic needs, apart from the arrows. Okay, it's just the arrows that are currently annoying her. I think we just need to increase the arrows for extra... Yeah, slight increase in aerodynamics so she can get the most out of her engines. Not much of a change to handling it on top speed. Keep it at the same setup. You keep the same tires and go. Let's see. Do we need to send Adiolenet in now? Oh, she's up to 8th. Pretty nice jump there. Only 4 minutes left in practice, and we're doing pretty decently so far. Race room is now up to level 2. Medium tires are also up to level 2, so there's a bit of a suit up for that. Well, let's see if we can get some more of that. Picerni is now in top form at 1 minute 49 for timing there. And that's Adiolenet. That's current time. 1 minute 49.76, going for an in lap now. Good running all around from our Spaniard. Judovic having an awesome time with handling, but she's still at medium setup knowledge. Probably a little more practice running will get her through. Last 2 minutes on practice. I don't know if we can make race trim up. Personal best boost for Adiolenet there. Crossing the overland bridge before hitting the home corner. The heating is fantastic. They can keep it at normal with this rate. Okay, it's just speed balance. She needs more speed. Her handling and aerodynamics are actually pretty decent. It's just the speed balance needs a bit more work, maybe? A bit more firepower? I don't know. See if this works. If it doesn't, we'll just bring it back a bit. Keep the same tires, and go. I mean, out lap 1, or rather 30 seconds remaining. I wonder if Adiolenet can still go for a time here. Judovic still needs more downforce? Are you kidding me? Well, it's the end of the run now, and unfortunately, yeah, nobody, they don't have enough time for that. Looks like we'll have to set up Judovic's downforce slightly slightly higher before the start of the race. I don't know if that's going to be a problem, really. Okay, Adiolenet has a good call on speed balance. Gearing seems just right here. Nice one. Okay. Stuck at 10 and 11 in timing here with Picerni and Cardenas and Reeves rounding up the top 3. Ooh, we got purples. All purples for Leonet this time. Excellent running there. See if we can adjust Judovic's setup for a bit. We got race trim and medium tires. Our setup. Yeah, okay. The downforce still needs a bit more work, so maybe just a little adjustment there while keeping the speed up. A bit more downforce. It's too much downforce, maybe. Somewhere around that area, generally speaking. And yeah, enough tire pressure should be enough. Stiffness there. Alright, that should do it, I think. Fine, let's stick with this. I know she will not like it, but... Right, we'll start with this. Keep them both in mediums, because I want to keep them on the road for as long as possible. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep them on the runs. Remember, let them decide how to use the ERS on their own, because they're much more knowledgeable about this than me. 2, 1, and away we go! Here in Dubai. Ooh, excellent jump from Durovic there. Going so far as to get ahead. Now she's ahead of Bingham. Meanwhile, Perez is... she's going to lose her 10th place spot to Norland because of a bit of a braking issue. A bit of a traffic jam there on the chicane. Coming up on the long hairpin. As Perez is still 11th. Jurovic has climbed up to 16th and doing some pretty good runs early here in the first lap. Perez now down at risk of going down to 12th, and there she goes as Pichani gets ahead of her. Jurovic still at 16th, but with a good spot to get ahead of Gulyas. Just needs to get past him at the chicanes, and there it is. Ooh, almost. Gulyas blocked him, but Jurovic comes back again with a bit of a strike on that L turn. Now here comes the bridge. Let's see how it goes. Perez has dropped to 13th. It's only Reeves between her and Jurovic this time. But she's trying to get back into her old spot. Not exactly succeeding there. Reeves gets ahead of her. And now Concleve is also ahead. There's Mock on top. Jurovic trying to keep it in 15th, but having a bit of an issue keeping it straight. Leaving the first stop. Ooh. Now it's teammate versus teammate, but unfortunately somebody took advantage of that. Now Da Silva Mello is ahead of both of our drivers. And there's Jurovic getting left behind on the chicanes after getting stuck in traffic. She is now back to 20th. Perez has dropped to 15th. Everybody else has gone for ERS. A little too early here, I think. Up on front, Mazzoncini and Monk fighting for first. Not exactly a good look for both of our drivers there. Lormore is at 3rd, Ramsey is at 4th, Chu has dropped down to 5th, Hornblatt is at 6th. Reeves is now in 10th, or 9th, fighting with Cardenas here. Jurovic trying to use her ERS, but can't get past too much traffic and is having a lot of issues getting through. Perez has jumped up to 14th. She's blocked by Da Silva Mello, who took over from both of our drivers earlier. Almost got an overtake, and there she goes, getting ahead on the straight. Jurovic now back to 20th again. And Perez getting past Concleve. Da Silva Mello is now ahead of her. Can she break through? Vulcan Mazzoncini still up on top. Jurovic almost got an overtake, but got left behind again because of the traffic caused by Balkan and Gulyas on the back. Looks like the Octane drivers are really having it for her. I have no idea why. Perez still blocked by Da Silva Mello, who's now trying to pull away. There goes Jurovic with the ERS. Not really using it that much yet. Just tap, tap, tap on the straights. There Perez going down to 13th again, or 14th again after Bingham gets ahead of her. And Bingham trying to get away. Concleve still sticking steady there. And here comes Perez. Still up there. Couldn't get an overtake on the inside. Now it's Jurovic trying to fight with Gulyas. Blocked by Kostrup. It's Vexala drivers in the back there. Kostrup and Norland rather, blocking Jurovic in the back. Still no sign of anybody changing up, but it is just the start of lap 4, so anything can still happen here. A lot of breakouts here. Jurovic once again drops to 20th as Gulyas gets ahead of her on the straightaway. Perez still having trouble breaking through the blockade caused by Da Silva Mello. And there's also a bit of a trouble in the mid-pack for traffic. Oh, Norland keeping Djordjevic away. Nope, she failed that. Perez going for the ERS at the corner for some reason. Maybe trying to save some fuel? I don't know. Here comes Djordjevic. She overtakes 3 drivers and now at 16th on the straightaway. Ooh, well, there's a bit of dust on that corner. Sounds like a risk here. Djordjevic now has Conclave ahead of her, but she's having trouble keeping Balkan away. Balkan gets an overtake on that slow hairpin, but Djordjevic is trying to get through with speed before the bridgehead. Perez still stuck at 14th with the Silva Mello still ahead of her, and now we're starting lap 5 with Djordjevic back in the lower end of the mid-pack. Can she finally get away and break through? We'll have to see in the next 5 laps. There's Conclave with the ERS overtake. Not exactly doing too bad, to be honest. And now Perez back to 15th. Djordjevic is now behind her. Taking some really good late braking overtakes here. Perez comes up to 13th. Now Djordjevic is behind, and Perez might be able to get back to her old starting spot here, as we're starting to see some tire wear problems, especially up front with Monk still burning through his tire like rubber. Lormore, meanwhile, is way behind at 6 seconds, and she's driving normally. She's also had problems with racing injury. It looks like a stiff neck due to all the G-forces. And here's Perez having trouble keeping Bingham away, while also having trouble getting past the Silva Mello, who is now starting to pull out right. And there's Perez getting overtaken with ERS, I think. Yep, there she is. Bingham gets an ERS overtake. It's now Djordjevic who's about to overtake her as well. Djordjevic also getting some late start overtakes there. Too bad somebody had an ERS run, but it looks like the Silva Mello made a mistake and let Djordjevic out on the inside overtake there. Now Djordjevic is at 13th, Perez is at 15th. Remember, we'll only get points if we are in top 7th, and there's also the sponsor objective to consider. The Mello Silva has been overtaken, the Silva Mello rather, and now it's 13th, 14th for both of our drivers again. Let's see if they can actually overtake this time. Bingham and Cardenas are at 12th and 11th respectively. Monk and Lormore still on top, but Monk is about ready to drop. Lormore almost at 50%. Our tire temperatures are still pretty decent, so no need to push forward with that. Now we're starting lap 7th, and there's still a bit of a traffic jam up front in the mid-pack. So our speeds are definitely doing some damage to the other drivers. We're seeing some durability issues with Bingham and Cardenas as well. So is Picerni and Hornblad. Funker definitely eating through. A little too much, in fact. Still a lot of speed up here. Would definitely make the most out of it. Perez not exactly making the most of her purples, though, which is kind of a shame. Our tires are still pretty decent. 59% for Djordjevic, 57% for Perez. And there's Perez complaining about having trouble overtaking her teammate. Who the heck is that? Hornblad is now on backup mode for some reason, trying to keep everybody away. I have no idea what's happening on his part of the road, but he might be having some issues with his engines. Bingham still blocking both of our drivers just across the bridge and into the home corner. Couldn't follow through with that outside overtake for Djordjevic. We're starting a lap 8, but still the same setup here. Ooh, somebody's gonna get overtaken here. It looks like that's Hornblad. But Hornblad's still fighting to get back into things. Bit of a traffic jam coming through the chicane. Not exactly a lot of fun days for our drivers. We got Cardenas and Picerni going for ERS, so is Perez, just so they can keep in pace with the ones up front, and that's Hornblad going for a pit crew run. Yep, his tires seem to be in a bit of a pickle, but there might be some other parts issues that we're not seeing. Now it's Bingham at 11th, Djordjevic at 12th, Perez at 13th, though that might not be for long as Hornblad's right behind her. We're seeing some other backup modes up front. Who is that up front that's blowing it up? Oh, it's Reeves. Reeves is in backup mode for some reason. We're only at lap 8, though. Let's see if things will change dramatically once we go into the middle of the race. Djordjevic defending 13 from Hornblad. 12 laps to go. Starting on lap 9, we're seeing some people asking for a pit run. Yep, Hornblad had some parts issues, it looks like. Now look, Bingham is now in backup mode, keeping both of our drivers away. Djordjevic having some nice things to say about her teammate. Still blocked off by Bingham, and he has now broken away the mid-pack here. Oh, he's going for ERS overtake to get past the Ozu ahead of her, which is Picerni, I think. Picerni? Yep, Picerni from Ozu, but Picerni's already asking for a pit change. Not looking too hot for that one. Oof. Oh, that's not good. Perez has dropped 13th as Djordjevic gets ahead of her again. Oh! What? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Perez! Nope, I will not have Perez crash again. She keeps crashing this. I think I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna go, let's see if we can go for speed early on, get an early pit change, and then go for endurance. We're changing strategies. Dang it, Perez, you were right there. We needed the points. And that's gonna drop the chairman's happiness, so I'm not exactly happy about that performance there. Bit of a sad run, that, to be honest. Even though we were doing so well in the mid-pack, she just had to slip up. I have no idea what happened. Anyway, let's go back into that. We're still gonna stick to the same run-ups, but we're going for softs first. We'll improve the wait, we can still improve the performance or mediums, but we're going to start with softs so that when they when we switch out and everybody else is still switching out, we can just go for durability towards the end. So let's just be thankful that there's no mandatory number of pits here. You're just free to change your tires whenever, because if there was a mandatory number of pit stops for a race, we'd be absolutely devastated. Okay, set it a bit faster, a bit more downforce maybe. Make it harder. Tire choice, still mediums. We're just gonna use softs for the early speed up, and we'll change up around, I don't know, lap 9 maybe? And everything else will be medium-sized. A bit more speed, a bit more downforce. Okay. Should be enough for now. Keep it at mediums as well. And then take practice. So as much as possible, I do not want to have a road accident here. Because we are having, we have to worry about the new point system now. Since they're only keeping it for the top 7. So if we lose any of our drivers right now, we're gonna lose our standings rather quickly. So if it happens again, I'm just gonna have to restart as is the usual. Aerostat feels fantastic. Aero's feeling right now. Okay, she's not complaining about the arrows for the time being, which is encouraging, so to speak. Let's see how they go with their flying lap. Who's that on the Ozu? It's not Gulyas, is it? Not. Gulyas with a neck injury by the looks of it. Ario Leonet once again with with a good jump on the fastest sector, which probably means we're gonna have to fix her parts again. Because usually, if she's the one that gets the purples first, there's going to be a yellow part in there somewhere. Coming up on the home hairpin. Into the start-end line. And Jurovic snatches first there, ahead of Ario. Still holding the top line for a time being, but I think it's going to change in the next few. Yep, there's Funker now, coming up at second. A tenth of a second behind Jurovic, actually. There's Chu at third. Perfect gear ratios. Gearing seems just right here. Nice one. Kohi at second. And you have to remember, these guys are using soft, so a gap like that is weird. Oh, 0.2 of a second behind Norlene now. Picherny at second too. Seeing some significant changes there. Jurovic and her setup knowledge is a bit low compared to Ario for some reason. Even though I'm sure Jurovic had a higher feedback rate. Well, anyway, things seem to be looking decent so far. We're already past the halfway mark in practice, so we might send somebody in after this particular lap. Now Jurovic is down 5th, Ario Leonet is down to 9th. Coming up on the home hairpin. And Ario Leonet goes up to 6th, Jurovic up to 2nd. Ooh, that is a very, very close gap with the current leader. And remember, they're using medium tires compared to Norlin's softs. Ooh, Funker jumped in with a first. Still getting some decent numbers in despite the fact that we're using pretty hard-wear tires here that aren't exactly built for speed. Both of our sets are now in level 2. Just need to get somebody out to fix things. Okay, that's Jurovic and Ario Leonet now done. Jurovic on top again, though I think it's going to be a very brief lead, with Norlin just 0.04 of a second and Picherny 0.08 of a second behind her. So unless we still we run out of time, this might be the setup for the practice timesheets for today, with only 1.5 minutes remaining. I don't know if we can fix anything and change stuff, so we'll have to see. Home hairpin, 1 minute remaining. Not enough time to get anything done, I'm afraid. Oh, good numbers there for Jurovic, though, so I think we should be okay here. We can just let her drive and use a different set of tires, maybe. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm happy with this. Rio Leonet is the one that needs more work. She's got too many yellows. A little too much downforce, maybe. Handling's decent. Speed balance probably needs a bit more, no. A bit less speed balance, maybe? A bit more top speed. Just a bit. Handling's great, though. Let's go with this. Keep the same tires for the time being. 40 seconds. I don't think we'll be able to come out of this. But there might be some setup for changes. Enough time to at least get these guys to level 3, maybe. Let's pray that that's the case. Dang it! Not enough time. We'll have to make do with level 2. I was right there. Oh well. Set knowledge is only pretty low, too. Not high at all. At least we got first, and Ario Leonet is at 5th. So that should be fun. Oh no, we got greens on all sides. That's great. I can handle that. Sometimes I feel like getting green stats on your car parts is a lot better than getting purples, actually. So God, let's go this helmet. Yeah, looks like it, but I don't feel like that's gonna change soon. Watson Industry looking well ahead in practice, but that's just practice. I don't know how it feels in the actual race itself. Remember, we're going for speed first before we go for endurance once we start changing pit lanes. So I want as much as possible to go for softs. Yes, early softs. Starting fuel is 16 laps maxed out, and we'll go for energy. Thankfully, our engines can handle that push-up, so we'll stick to this, and then we'll let them handle their batteries on their own. And away we go. Oof, bit late of a start on Jurovic there, but Perez seems to be having a bit more of an easy run. Still stuck behind Chu on the start there, but not oh, come on! Perez! Ugh. Well, running wide is a bit more acceptable than crashing, at least. So she'll have to work her way up, though, as Jurovic is now on top, or at least ahead of her teammate, in a bit of a traffic jam on the starting chicane. Kustrup trying to block her, but both of them get ahead of the Silva Mello, and now they're one place up each. Jurovic going decently on the straights, but not exactly getting any extra space in, not closing in with the leaders. As Bingham getting dropped by Reeves and Goulias. Kustrup also getting ahead of Bingham, while Jurovic is stuck behind Kustrup, or Bingham rather. Couldn't get an overtake on that long turn. The Silva Mello just about ready to overtake. Jurovic leaving that inside corner open a little too much. And now both of our drivers are at the back again. Remember, we're just going to switch as soon as somebody else switches up front. Ugh, that's a lot of traffic on the end of that hairpin there, though. Most of the rear drivers are still cracking it up for some reason, even though only one of them has the ERS on. In cases like this, I feel like we're doing some sandbagging just to avoid most of the traffic and then overtake once the roads have cleared up a bit. As the back 10 is kind of a like Main Street, not rush hour. Even with some gap changes, there's still a lot of traffic there. And get Jurovic up there going for the overtake, and she's now up in 18th, right before the start of lap 3. Good run from our Swedish driver there, and she's also doing some outside overtakes, getting through on the inside corner along the chicane. Now she's up to 17th, getting ahead of the Silva Mello again, but the Silva Mello is just stuck behind her tailpipe. Perez almost back with the pile, still behind though. Now Jurovic goes down to 18th again with the Silva Mello getting ahead. Norland is now down to 17th thanks to the Silva Mello overtaking. A bit of a tight squeeze there, and Balkan gets back up to the 18th. Up front, it's Mook and Lormor again, still driving pretty decently. Question is, can we at least keep things ready up here? Balkan leaving the inside open, but the Silva Mello on the blockade just had to overtake on the end of that hairpin though, and now Jurovic is back up to 18th. Going into the consecutive hairpin turns, and Jurovic is still struggling to get past the Silva Mello after that. There's Perez now in 19th, keeping Balkan away, but having a hard time at it. Ooh, good overtake there. With Perez now at 18th, though I think Jurovic is not going to be happy with that, and she's coming for an overtake on the straight. Bit early braking there, almost got overtaken by Perez again, but Jurovic managed to control the tires and keep things steady as Jurovic is still, or as Perez rather, is still in 19th. Da Silva Mello still blocking stuff, and it looks like the traffic is starting to open up. Let's see what will happen now. Tire heating still pretty decent. Tire wear also good on both our drivers there. And that's Perez and Jurovic getting ahead of Da Silva Mello at the end of the home hairpin. Starting lap 5 with a bit of a climb up, but not much. Now, Jurovic has her eyes on Norlin. Norlin, excellent corner defense there, keeping Jurovic at bay. Also a bit of a gap between Norlin and Bingham on this part of the line and around the early run of lap 5. And there goes the Silva Mello with an inside overtake. Both of our drivers kind of got a bit sloppy on the defense there. And there's Norlin with the ERS push. Not exactly a good time to do that since she's approaching the corner. And there's Perez down in 20th again, with Balkan getting ahead of her due to the late braking and all that. There's the Silva Mello with the ERS overtake just before the bridge. But she can't keep Jurovic away, and Jurovic is still sticking it even if she can't overtake on the outside turn. Now it's lap 6, and Perez lets Balkan overtake her again. But she tries fighting Balkan, and she grabs 19th once more. There's Jurovic at 17th, now wheel-to-wheel with Gullias. Gullias and Da Silva Mello keeping her away. But Jurovic manages to come up on top, and she's now at 16th with Gullias. Or Jurovic, rather. With Gullias now in 15th, Kostrop down to 14th. Perez once again in 20th because of the overtake by Balkan. Jurovic trying to keep it up, but the outside corner means her inside is very exposed to an overtake, and now Norlin is once again ahead of her. Kostrup is down to 17th here, Mick at 18th. Perez trying to get ahead of her now, but Kostrup is being very defensive. Up front, Hornblatt is at 3rd, Mazzoncini at 4th, Ohi at 5th, Ramsey at 6th, and Concleve at 7th, with Funker and Cardenas switching out spots for 8th and 9th, and Reeves rounding up the upper half at 10th. Perez still having trouble getting past Kostrup, and now she'll have to deal with Da Silva Mello also blocking her. Jurovic almost got overtaken by Da Silva Mello, but she manages to stay in the inside corner. Ooh, good overtake there. Gullias made a mistake at the top of that hairpin, leaving Jurovic wide open for an overtake, and now Jurovic is at 15th. Norlin still blocking her, though. Bingham up on 13th. Pichani at 12, and Chu with a decent 4-second lead over our drivers at 11th, rounding up the lower half of the grid. Now there's Norlin with a bit of a gap there. Perez has gone up to 18th again, still having trouble getting out of the lower end because of the drivers that have dropped down due to durability issues. And now both of our drivers are pretty low on the tires, 45 and 40 respectively. There's Balkan with an ERS overtake, dropping Perez down to 20th again. 13 laps to go. There's a good chance we might have to switch out here. Next lap, maybe. How many laps do these guys last? 15th, 15th. Okay, we're gonna send Perez at the start of lap 9. Hit. Parts conditions. Okay, we can fix that maybe. Let's fix the front wing. Keep it balanced. We'll have Jurovic driving for at least another lap, and then we'll switch her out at the end of the 9th. So it's gonna be durability over here. There's Jurovic using her ERS to get some overtakes at the end there, but she can't get past Bingham. Scratch that, she did manage to get past Bingham, but bit of an early braking from Jurovic puts her back down to 14th, and Bingham is now pulling away. And Jurovic needs to learn a bit more about late braking, just like her senior here. She can get some good numbers out. Really tough fight there, and now Jurovic is behind Norland again. After that inside overtake. Coming up on the bridge, Norland going for an ERS push. She gets her overtake, but she gets, a bit close there with Reeves. Almost got blocked off, but she manages to snatch out one way in the middle. Now we're putting Jurovic up for durability. Parts condition, let's fix up the front wing. She'll be switching out soon. Perez will have to hold in the back there. And Hornblatt is also going for an early pit. And there's Perez going Eason, coming out on 20th with Hornblatt getting ahead of her. Jurovic at 14th, but she'll lose this as soon as she pits out at the end of lap 9. Not much of a change up front, though. And there's the Silva Mello ready to snatch that at the slow corner. Chu also looking for an for a change here. Pretty early, in fact. Let's push her a bit more. 28% on Jurovic with the soft tires. Now she gets past Chu on the overtake, starting a lap 10. And now we're going to have Jurovic switch out on the road as Perez gets ahead of her, or way behind her, actually. Tire durability and tire forward running are still pretty decent. Jurovic is now down to 17th, or rather make that 18th, as Perez now gets ahead of her to 16th because of the early overtakes on the other side. Everybody else have also gone for mediums. Looks like this is going to be a bit of a sinker. Mock and Mazzoncini are also mediums. There's also Hornblatt and Funker. Perez drops to 17th as Funker gets ahead of her. Let's probably conserve the tires for a bit. And there's Perez going ahead of Funker on the straight. Jurovic still behind her, but things might suddenly change here as we start the second half of the leg of the season. Hornblatt just a few seconds ahead of us, probably a full second behind or ahead. Now we're starting lap 11 up front. Both of our drivers are still in the back. Let's see if we can change anything up here. Ooh, that's Perez at 16th after Funker gets ahead of her again. Jurovic dropping in ranks as well because of the slowdown in the chicane. Let's see if we can change anything up front here. No sign of anybody changing a pit lane crews. Ooh. That's Ramsey and De Silva Mello with an overtake, but Perez is still having trouble getting past Funker, and Jurovic is still stuck in 16th. We start lap 12. Lormore is still on top of the lower back here. Really can't get past most of these heavy drivers for now. And Jurovic still at 16th as we start lap 13. No overtakes to speak of so far. 2 laps like this. I think we can go for neutrals now. Seven laps to go. Still no sign of a change. Oh, bit of a up there, 11th. Perez is still behind Funker, but I don't know if we can actually see any more changes after that. Jurovic now up to 12th after defending against Bingham. Perez still having trouble getting past Funker, though. Wonder if we can get our sponsor objective at this rate. starting on lap 15. Still no sign of a change for both of our drivers. Oh, Perez is now up to 8th, Drogovic at 10th. But everybody up front is too fast, and I don't think we can get into the championship numbers at this rate. With only 6 laps to go. Yeah, we're definitely going to drop significantly unless we score any points. And I don't think that's going to be easy. Mock goes back up to first after overtaking Lormore, but it's a really tight lead. Just 4 tenths of a second, in fact. Any nice change? Any change would be nice, really. We can push our tires a bit more. Okay, maybe not that. Keep it on neutral for now. 5 laps to go. Still no sign of a heavy change up front. I don't think we'll be seeing any numbers for our team soon. Ugh. Perez about to be overtaken. Yeah, there's Kostrup now. And now Drogovic is not at 10th still. Walk halfway through his tires, but it's only 4 laps after this, so I think he'll be okay without another tire change. Both of our drivers still struggling to get into the thick of things. Ugh. That's Perez getting overtaken on a slow corner again by Kostrup. This is going to be a bit hard. 4 laps to go. Tires are still pretty decent, though. Maybe you can push him a bit? That's Drogovic at 8th. Perez at 7th. We're getting some points back in, but still a bit enough. Excess fuel. Can we keep the tires open at least until the end of the race, though? I don't think so. 3 laps to go. Both of our drivers are still in the middle, and no sign of any points coming up. Drogovic might drop to 5th, and Perez might drop to 15th, unless we can get back points here. And there's Drogovic getting ahead of Funker for 7th, or rather for 6th. Perez still at 8th. She needs to get some points now, or we'll be doomed to drop here. 2 laps to go. Not exactly too bad right now, but I think there's a good chance we might need to push our drivers a bit more. There's Perez going for the ERS. She needs some points. They both need points, really. We're still in a really bad spot here. And Drogovic having a bit of trouble getting past Mazzoncini now. As we approach the last lap. And there's Drogovic overtaking, getting 5th overall. And now it's Perez having trouble getting past Mazzoncini, and Colhigo and Cliff are a little too far out. I don't think we're going to make any more points. We're going to drop in the standings for sure. The chairman will not be happy about this. Oof. Yeah, we need to do better than that. Dang it! Looks like this tactic didn't work out as we wanted. We're definitely not getting any points for this. We're definitely going to drop in points now. Dang. A bit of an issue with that. Since we kind of, like... We couldn't make enough points in the first half. Or rather, we couldn't make enough places in the first half to actually get anywhere higher, so that when we pit early, we would have been able to what do you call? What do you call it? If we manage to get some more places up in the first half, pitting early would have been a bit more. How shall we say? It's a bit more tactical, so that we can focus on getting some. Chairman's not happy with that. Let's ignore everything. Okay, let's make that next one up. I need better sponsors. Perez definitely not looking too happy. I don't think she'll want to be switched out with Okay, let's see what we got. 21 hours, not bad. Could have been better. Okay, what do we want? Dropping her morale even further. 7 seconds slower. I know. We'll just have to write that off as a really bad episode on our part. We need better crew. But I don't have the money for that right now. 9 days for the next one, which is Tondela. Excuse me. Okay, car repair is complete. We can go back to reliability improvements for that. Got 13 days before the race, yes, sure. After that, we'll make another illegal part. Probably have enough money for that. We need to get better sponsors. Okay, car repair. We can fix it, but it's going to cost us. If we don't act now, I'm worried we'll lose some of our fuel. Okay, I'll go with that. Should have enough money for one more illegal part for next season. 4 days for the next part. Improvability should be done. A couple. After that, we're going to improve the reliability of our, the other remaining parts, and then... Okay, new engine is done. All of the parts development jobs are complete. So let's go with these and these. Well, the new part... No, we're not going to give this to somebody. We're going to need a new engine. A new illegal engine. In fact, 1, 2, 3... slot. Either one. Okay, this one should... Ooh, there goes the money. We're now back in the 100,000 range. It's been a while. It has been a while. Remember how we were floating in money in the previous run before the Asia Pacific Super Cup because of the sponsors and all that? I need somebody with good marketing bonuses again. There's somebody... What? Was that mine? Oh, it's Mock. Mock's about to retire. 32 laps. All the parts are spec. And there's only a 10% chance of rain. How long has Mock... Oh, he's still... What? He's only 19. But why is he moving out of Archer? Okay. I know it's going to be like that, but I need better sponsors, boss, and we're not exactly getting... we're not exactly swimming in sponsors right now. Which is a bit of a shame, really. Marketing issue. If only we didn't have a really bad marketing number right now, but that's understandable. Okay, so far so hot. There's the other great engine, Eagle. I think we're decent enough at this point. I just need some more improvements to improve. Oh, those parts are already maxed out. Improvements, pretty much on the okay there. I'll have this listed for reliability next time. Okay, let's do this then. I'm not too confident about Tondela. Maybe we should have hit the pit lane uh, 2 laps earlier than usual so that we can stay on the road for longer. Wait, why did Perez's feedback go to 4? What? Why is it at 12? What? Oh, it climbed up. Okay. Okay, Jurovic and Adio Lanet up there. Feedback's almost at max output. Excellent. Now we're going for softs again, so I'm not in the mood for going for supers. Be sure they want us to be a bit more on the acceleration side of things, so let's go with this. Switch over to softs. Durability is a must. It's going to be a long race, unfortunately, so that's going to be a problem. Acceleration front as well. Steers, some arrows. And keep it at soft. Or oversteer, I mean, not understeer. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's pray it works. They can practice. It's gonna be a long run. We're in the middle of the pit lane, so it's gonna take them a while to get out and get in. Maybe we should have really just gone for a longer pit run, but the problem with Dubai is that it was a one-stop race, or yeah, it was a one-stop race. So going early might have been much more reliable if we had, since we have drivers who are actually pretty smooth with their tires. But going late might have also given us a chance to make some time, and then using the time to get ahead of everybody else while they're still pitting through, we could have gotten some more gaps ahead of them, maybe, or at least close it up. I'm not really too confident about that now. Anyway, things seem to be going okay on their out lap so far, or rather their first flying lap. Excuse me. A bit of change there, and that's Jodovic and Ario Leonet on top. Jodovic snatching first from Ario Leonet. The Mach is about ready to go there. Now we have our soft tires at level 1, and Race Dream also at level 1. Getting up to level 3 would be ideal at this point. By the looks of it, Ario Leonet has it in the bag. She's got her setup knowledge almost... she already has setup knowledge going halfway through medium at 8.5 minutes left. Judovic, meanwhile, still struggling to get up there. So still a bit of a run-up for that one. Judovic comes up on top again, but she's only 0.08 of a second ahead of Picherny and 0.2 of a second ahead of Julias. There's Mach scoring third. Hang on. Was that? Didn't notice what Rio Leonet was talking about. Dang it. Push it to limit. Coming up over the bridge again, just before the home chicane. And Rio Leonet has dropped to 6th. Maybe it's time to bring her in. Rio Leonet with a pretty decent all-out so far. Race Trim is now at level 2, but we're only at 6, or still at 6.5, or 6 minutes 40 seconds rather. Probably some time to get that race trim and soft tires set up to level 3. Jodovic seems to be loving most of her parts so far. Not too sure if Leonette can agree. We'll have to see it as soon as she arrives in the pit lane. Yep, only good stuff. She needs to work it a bit more. So maybe a little less arrows. Just a little less arrows there. Some more understeer. More balance towards speed, maybe? Keep the same tires. Keep the same stints, and away we go. Jurovic seems to be doing okay, currently on top of the sheets, even with just the soft tires. Too bad we can't really convert that 100% to the actual race. Setup knowledge are both still at medium, just halfway too. We can at least get them to high, that would be nice. Jurovic taking a while to get back home. With only 5 minutes left in practice, not exactly looking too hot for her. Let's see what we got. Yep, downforce still needs some work. A little more downforce, maybe? Okay, maybe a little less downforce. Acceleration. Keep that up. Should be enough. 5 seconds. Okay, enough time to get back on the road. There's Jurovic on her outlap again. Ario Leonette just about ready to start a new set of flying laps at 4.5 minutes to go before practice is over. Let's see how much progress she's had so far. Picerni now up on 3rd, getting ahead of Mach. Ooh! Race trim is now up to level 3, so is soft tires. And now Ario Leonette is at high setup knowledge, which can be pretty nice. Maybe that means we got the new setup properly. Jurovic still struggling to get back to good or to high setup knowledge on her end. Okay, handling was a bit of trouble. 3 minutes to go. Jurovic just about ready to get to high setup knowledge too. Ario Leonette at halfway. Let's see if we can get some performance out of the super softs just this once. Maybe we can get something out of it. At least with Ario Leonette's side of things. And how's Jurovic coming up on the speed up? Still on top, 1:10, a bit slower than the previous one. It looks like we got the wrong arrow set up again. 2 minutes left to go. And dang it, seriously? So see, she wants us to get some more arrows in. Mark. Bit less understeer. More focus on acceleration and top speed. Okay, this should be enough. 20 seconds. I don't know if we'll be able to get anything out of that, but we'll try either way. Not enough time to get anything out. 1:30. She probably could do one run, but that's not enough for for setup knowledge, I think. Where's Jurovic? Alright, she's on her way in. 1:10. Probably not enough time there either. Downforce is not exactly looking too good. Okay, so maybe a bit more downforce. Be nice. While keeping the same level of acceleration and top speed. Handling. So try out 2 supers. See if she'll have enough time to get back in for at least one more try. 1 minute to go. Ariolena still on the what do you call it? Outlap. And there's Jurovic. Not gonna be enough time for her to get back into things, I feel. Yeah, no, she's not gonna be there. Ariolena is now starting her final run there. And I don't think... Yeah, Jurovic won't be able to do anything. Aero setup is way better, at least. Not enough time to get the speed, super soft tires up. Ooh! But Jurovic got purples this time. I think we're happy with that. Hopefully it'll translate to actual rolling, but ooh. Vitami snatching the top of the sheets at the last second, getting a two-tenths of a lead over both of our drivers. Pretty interesting stuff there. I'm still surprised Dragon Race Team managed to convince Fabian Ramsey to drive for them, actually. Jenny being confident. Let's see how it goes. Second or above. Still not getting the sponsorship objectives, though. Kind of a shame, really. Okay, let's see what we got. Race trim and soft tires. Race trim and soft tires. Dang it. Well, better than nothing, I suppose. Let's hope we can actually get something out of that. We'll go for softs again. It's going to be durability. It's 32 laps, so there's a good chance we'll be doing doubles, which means we'll need to go and stick to softs for a bit, and then we'll go with supers once we're running towards the end of the race. Hang on, hang on. Right. These tires are going to last for only around 14, maybe? Is that right? Let's try this tactic, see if it works. We're going to start with only 16 laps, maybe. 16 laps of fuel, and then we'll see if we can refuel towards the end. And still, we're going to be using slow tires for this one, so the soft tires for the time being. Weather doesn't seem to be having a bit of a problem. We're going for 16 laps of tires for both of our drivers so that we're getting a bit more speed at the cost of weight, although I feel like we're gonna need the fuel burn to be decent. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't, we'll just have to restart. And away we go. Jurovic with a decent start for acceleration. Just could sure use a bit more work there. Ooh, a bit of a tight squeeze. Good thing it wasn't a little too far that Jurovic would have been called out for cutting a corner. Speaking of cutting a corner, Perez is at 6th and staying there for the time being, mostly because this is a reverse grid. Ah, she got overtaken. Not exactly that good there. Remember that our drivers aren't exactly... the drivers in the URS aren't really starting based on their actual standings, but reverse of it. So Perez being on the lower end of the sheet is higher up on the starting line. Now we're starting lap 2, and she's now down to 8th. Ooh, that's a lot of ERS on the way out of the starting line. There's Jurovic at 15th, getting overtaken by Reeves. Ugh. Bit nasty, that. Perez now down at 12 because of all the traffic jam. What the heck? Well, someone for making things lighter. Ooh, a bit of a bump up there. Wheel to wheel to wheel just behind Perez on that lane. Jurovic now at 20th. And now Perez down to 16th because Bingham got a little ahead of her. Not looking too hot for both of our drivers. 30 laps to go. And now Drurovich is up to 18th after that home turn overtake. Wait, what time is it? That's Balkan getting ahead of Perez now. Perez trying to get back into 16th. Drurovich also trying to get an overtake on the outside corner and failing miserably. And now Perez trying her best to get off. Ooh, I kind of forgot to set that on. No wonder we were having trouble. Should have let the drivers use the ERS on their own. Ugh. Anyway. When things start to get a bit messy, we can just switch out around lap 10, get some fuel in, and then get some runs up. Just a bit of fuel. Well, we can't really do a splash and dash anymore. Especially not with these slower cars and the weaker pit crew that we have. Now Drurovich goes down to 19th again with Mock getting ahead of her. Up on top, Kohi and Ramsey with their super softs, but they're eating their tires a little too fast. Now Lormore is 20th, with Drurovich just keeping her at bay. Entering the home corner. Perez with a devastatingly surprising, with a rather surprising outside corner overtake at the home corner there. Now she's up to 12th, or rather 13th. Good chance to get 12th up here as she overtakes Chu. Not Chu? Oh, Chu Mutasilva. Right. And now there's Mazzoncini ahead of her in the China car. Race Dream. Dragon Racing car, I mean. Chu almost got an overtake on the outside from that one. Perez defending just in time. And now, still a bit of a problem up front. Speaking up front, Cardenas is now up to 2nd. 3 seconds behind Kohi. Ooh, bit of a tight squeeze there. Perez losing 13th to Chu on a slow overtake. And now she's stuck between Chu and Reeves. While Drurovich is still at 18th. And now Perez might be going down to 14th as well as Reeves get ahead of her. Come on, come on. Ah, she's going down to 15th now as Balkan gets ahead of her too. Going for ERS overtakes here, trying to get back to 14th. She gets back into 13th, but she runs out of energy just before the start of the chicane turn. Now coming up for the slow hairpin into the home corner. And Perez is down to 14th again after Reeves takes an inside overtake. There's Drurovich. Drurovich is now 15, taking over Bingham. And now both of the ZRT... No, it's not ZRT, both. That's Hornblad in the 11th car, Reeves in the 12th, putting some traffic on the opening hairpin, keeping Drurovich at bay here. Now the teammates are wheel to wheel. Perez and Drurovich exchanging positions on those corners. Oof. That's Drurovich taking advantage of the open inside corner on the side of the chicane. She's now up to 13th. Couldn't get past Reeves though. Now going into straights and having trouble keeping up. Ooh! Bingham with the ERS overtake once again. Now 26 laps to go at the start of lap 8. Our drivers are both at 8 laps remaining on the fuel as well. We might have to change a bit early here. Speaking of changing, we got Picerni, Funker, and Chu already switching out, putting our drivers a bit higher up, and now they're on the lower end of the midfield. Funker has gone for super softs a little too early at that. Kind of risky tactic here in a long runner that is Tondela. Drurovich gets overtaken by Balkan out of nowhere. Really bad defending from our Swedish driver there. And now she's down to 13th because of the traffic jam. 24 laps to go. Fuel's now down to 7%. Both of our drivers are concerned that we're not going to be able to make it home. Oof, Mock almost got through. Was it Mock? Yeah, Mock almost got past Funker on, or rather Mazzoncini on the outside there, but Mazzoncini managed to stop him before the start-end line. Too bad there's now a lot of open space for Mock to get past, and Mock is now up to 11 because of that overtake. 42 minutes left. Ooh, Judovic with the ERS overtake. She's now back to 10th. Back to 10th. Balkan now ahead of her. Can she go for speed again? We're not too sure. Let's see if we can give her a couple more runs for this. That's Perez going for ERS overtakes. Ramsey has gone for a pit lane just at the end of lap 10. I don't think we can overtake him, though. Yep, Ramsey is... Wait, what? Where's Ramsey? Ramsey has gone down to 19th. That pit lane change was a bit long. Judovic now up to 8th. Tire temperatures are starting to look a bit nasty. And now Judovic is at 34%. Perez also at 34%. We might have to switch them out now. Perez has dropped to 16th, however. There she is, getting past Concliffe, but Concliffe is using her ERS to stay in the running. Could overtake Perez here. Now it's dropped to 30%. Okay, maybe we can go for a pit change here. Then add 5 laps of fuel. Yeah, 5 laps of fuel. Parts condition, fix that front wing, please. Keep balanced. Judovic can probably ask for a pit change in the next 2 runs instead. And now Judovic is having a fight with Cardenas, who's blocking her way. Judovic now still at 8th. Ooh, Perez has dropped to 19th. She's still going on soft tires, though. Tires still seem pretty decent. I think we can conserve some of these tires for now. Since the tire heating is pretty okay, I think we should get Judovic out as soon as out of the pit lane now. And okay, keep it at 8.91. Fix that front wing and send her in. Don't go for fast pitting. We have a high chance of making a mistake, so that's Kostrup and Golias out on the pit lane as well. Kolhi has snatched first. 21 laps to go. Judovic will definitely lose her place here. It's taking a while. Oh, a bit of a mistake on the refueling. Judovic has now gone down to 18th because of a fueling mistake. Now both of our drivers behind. It's gonna be a lot of work coming back up on top with that mistake there. Perez trying to get past Mazzoncini now, who's doing a blocking maneuver. And then there's Bingham right in front of Judovic again. That's Balkan and Conclave. Judovic getting ahead of both drivers on the pit lane, and now she's at 14th. Perez stuck at 18th, unfortunately. Pretty decent tire wear and tire heating, at least. At the start of lap 13, now we gotta make sure we can get some more speed up here. 19 laps to go, and Kolhi is already at 25% remaining on his tires. No, scratch that, just 27, but still pretty close to eating it up already. Still a bit more of a change in order here. Not looking too hot for our drivers. And there's Kolhi with a pit lane change. Funker might change out soon as well. 18 laps to go, start of lap 15, and Drulovic is still in the back, but there's a good chance she can make laps, or rather make some speed up here if she can overtake somebody, but Chu with a good defending. Too bad Chu can't hold it in, and now Drulovic is at 12th. Perez has dropped down to 16th again, having trouble staying in it. Drulovic also having trouble getting past the Silva Melo. And she's still in 12th as we start lap 16. I'll make that 13th as Chu gets ahead of her now. Bit of a traffic jam on the exit of the pit lane there, and that drops her. Perez still having trouble getting back into it. I think we can go up to neutrals again. 16 laps remain. Can we make up enough speed just so we can get some more places up and get as much closer to the front as possible? I don't think we can. Can't get past Bingham at this point. Alright, that's Drulovic coming up to 11th after Chu goes for a pit change. We're still pretty good on tire wear at least, but the fuel is a bit lacking. Probably have to change Drudovic's fuel at this point. $14 laps to go. Drulovic is at 11th. Splash and go, maybe? How many more laps is this gonna last? 68. So if we go, yeah, okay, that should be enough. 9 seconds though. It's gonna be a bit risky. Very risky, in fact. Perez now climbing up the ranks here. She's now at 11th. Oof. Drulovic behind. Now she's down to 18th. Ahead of Ramsey at least. 29% on the tires there for Perez, who is at 11th. Mazzoncini. Oh, Drulovic got ahead of Mazzoncini there. We'll probably put Perez in for an tire and wheel change next lap. She's still at 2.5 laps to go, and her tire situation is still pretty decent. 44% in fact. I just need these drivers to be rolling a bit more efficiently. That's Drulovic getting ahead of Mazzoncini, going up to 16th. Lormore has gone for a pit change, and she's probably rolling up pretty early. 1.67, 40% on the tires. I think we should go for durability still. Give her a couple more fuel laps to roll. One more stop, 15 seconds. Do we want to risk it and go for a fast pit lane strategy? 13 seconds is the best we can do here. We're still way behind on speed. 12 laps to go, and we're gonna drop down to 7th at this rate. Drulovic at 13th now. Using that ERS to the limit. Perez has dropped down to 18th as Ramsey blocks her on the exit. Oof, a little on the ERS overtake there. Drulovic gets overtaken by Mock and Norland, I think, as they come out with 11 laps to go. Yeah, this was a bit of a bad idea, I think. Dang. It's Funker on the overtake. Perez couldn't get past Funker, I think. Oh no, there she is at 17th. Yeah, no, I think we should, let's see if we can still salvage this. If not, I'm going to restart the Tondela run, because this is annoying. That pit crew mistake really cost us some numbers here. Oh, yep, Judovic's tires are worn. Perez has gone down to 16th. Fill up the fuel. Any parts we can fix that doesn't add time? Nope, there isn't. Gonna risk it. Going for a push here. 9 laps to go on the runs. And Judovic will have to pit. That refueling that's annoyingly slow. Now she's down at 18th, Perez at 17th. Gonna need a lot of work to get back into the run for this one. 8 laps remaining. Nah, there's no way we can salvage this. I guess starting with a low amount of fuel isn't really in the cards right now, because both of our drivers seem to be having trouble getting out of the back. Maybe if we were on the lead, which usually only happens when we're starting, or when we're towards the end of the race in the ERS, everywhere else would be useful with with no extra fuel, I think. 2/3 on the drop? Maybe we can still do with just one stop. Oh no. Job security is secure. We need to get back up and fast. Chairman's not going to be happy at this rate. Yes, yes, Chairman, I hear you. Save it over here. I feel like I'm not in the funk right now. This doesn't sound right. Because I'm just worried about the financial constraints again, or is it because I'm really just not doing so hot with tactical driving? Could be both, really. Okay. This time, let's try and get that practice setup done properly, shall we? Now we'll just do 1/3 fuel, or 1/3 fuel lost. Go for softs first, and then once softs is almost ready to go into level 3, we'll switch to super softs. Steer. Down for softs. Okay. Well, not a bit of understeer, a bit of oversteer actually, since softened up the handling. See how things roll up here now. The setup knowledge isn't going up fast enough, which means we made a mistake somewhere. Well, at least the active knowledge is going there. Pass the sector again. Okay, stiffen up the handling, which means we need to make it a bit softer, I suppose. There's Judovish on top again. Ario Leonet behind. Ristrim is now level 1. Soft Tire is also at level 1. Hornblad snatching first. Or downforce. Okay. Okay, she needs more downforce and she needs stiffer handling, which means tougher tires, maybe? Acceleration balance is great. Okay, let's see if this changes anything. Keep it at soft tires for now. Then we'll have Ario Leonet switch out to super softs once her stints are done, since we're almost at level 2 soft tires here. Judovish is now at 4th, Ario Leonet at 2nd after that run. Balkan snatches first, however, and now that's 4/10 of a second ahead. Pretty fast push-up from Balkan there. Alright, soften up the handling, got you. Right, 6.5 minutes. Let's see if Ario Leonet will get some more numbers out of this, and then we'll... Yep, she's going to pit in after this one, thankfully. Judovish almost at high setup knowledge, at least. And we'll, since we're already halfway in the soft tires, so yeah, in the soft tires category, we can have Ario Leonet switch over to super soft, so we can get some performance boosting out of that. Hopefully. Soften up the handling. Downforce needs some more work, at least. Okay, let's see if this changes anything. Switch over to super softs. Oh, come on! I was there! Why did I click default? Or cancel, rather? Right. Switch over to super softs and send her out again. Gonna take all off of that to come out. Okay, nice job with the handling. It's much better. Can bring her in. You can probably have enough time to... Wait, hang on. Let's see, do we have enough time for softs? If we do, I'm gonna send Judovish in for supers. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Alright, she's going in for supers now. 3.5 minutes. Still enough time to at least get that to level 1, I think. Just so we have some performance boosting for both of our drivers on both tires. And steer maybe. Downforce. It's a little bit less downforce, actually. see how things go so far. If things don't pan out, we'll just go back to this original setup. Setup knowledge is high for Judovic, just a bit more for Arielene. Just halfway through. I don't think it's helping. Dang it! 2.5 minutes. Let's see if we can at least get that to level 1. Downforce and handling are now poor. Dang it. So it should be downforce then. It's a bit more understeer, apparently. Why do they keep asking for softer handling if they want the car to be a bit stiffer? I don't get it. There's like a bit of a a bit of misplaced messaging there. Keep it in the super softs. Should be enough time to get back into it for at least one more run, yes? Now that's Judovic and Arielene at 5th and 7th respectively. Balk and Silla on top with 1 minute 10. Now there's Judovic starting our flying lap. Let's hope we get something out of that. Handling feels much better. Not much of a change there. Level 1? Give me a level 1, please. We got 1 more minute to go. There we go. Level 1 on super softs. Not bad. Not bad. Nope. Arielene that's still at 7th. Ooh, Judovic with 1st. That's a good jump. I guess that's going to be the time for them. As we have 5 seconds left, though, I think they're still doing 1 more stint each. Let's see how things go from here on out. 1 minute 9.066. They're both at great setup knowledge, so that's going to be good. Arielene went down to 9th, though. Let's see if things change after this stint. Closing out practice. Yep, she jumps up to 6th. Judovic, it's still at 1st. I think that's gonna be it for practice in Tondela. Both of our drivers have great setup knowledge right now, which can be a bit encouraging, but I don't think they'll have the same setup for later. And Judovic is definitely gonna be happy at that. Maybe just like in Dubai, we'll have a bit of a change. I think we're just gonna stick with this. Do I really want to go with refueling, though? I knew it. Something was off with the handling. Good enough. Stick to soft tires for now. Drop the fuel by 1. Should be it. Wait, hang on. Is that alright? 1 lap fuel. Full lap. 2, 3, 5. Hang on. It's 16 laps. Go with 21 for this. Let's see if it still works that way. Our choices, again, softs. Drop down to 21 laps. And keep both of our drivers at high. And we can start the race. Again, because of the reverse grid, our drivers are up in the back mostly. Well, at least Perez is. Jurevich is up here. Oh no, Jurevich is down here because she is higher in the standings, but pretty much it. Let's see how it goes. Oh, good acceleration from Perez. Just couldn't get past Funker on the starting grid. Somebody ran wide. Who was it? Bingham ran wide. Really wide. She's already having trouble with her neck, too. Jurevich up to 14th. Perez up to 5th. Let's see if they can keep up the pace here. A good running would be enough to keep us in the fight, but I don't think we're going to be okay with that. And Perez gets overtaken by Picerni again. Jurevich in traffic, stuck in 16th behind Kostrop. Now Monk gets ahead of her on the slow overtake just before the home chicane. There's Perez going down to 7th again, with Chu ahead of her. Ooh, Ramsey and Hornblatt trying to get an overtake, getting away using ERS. Pretty early jump there. Ooh, speaking of early, Kohi pushing up. Everybody else also pushing up pretty early. And now Perez is at 13th because of all the ERS overtakes. Really taking advantage of all of that. And now she's down to 17th. The heck? Guess everybody wants to get a piece of the pie early on at this, right after the start of second lap. Now, at the start of lap 3, both of our drivers are back in the tail end again. And Jurevich is having trouble getting past Bingham, while Perez is stuck behind the two Vexala Motorsport drivers, who have done an excellent job of blocking. Not looking too hot for both of our drivers right now. Bit of a waste, that. Now it's lap 4, and there's still a bit of traffic. Oh! What happened to Bingham? No, what happened to Norland? Why is he back here now? Now, fight for between both of our drivers trying to get out of the bottom rung. Not looking too hot, even with the ERS on. Too much traffic already. Everything should have been stock at this point, but I am seriously not a fan of the ERS. Ooh, boy. What the heck happened here? Cardenas, Kostrop, and Chu all having rushing accidents on the home turns. Oh, boy. Yeah, no, they're not going to be happy with that. But that at least gives us some chance to get back into things with the crashes that have happened. Hopefully we can make some points. Not too confident about that, though. Speaking of confidence, Perez is currently driving with a form of 9. Pretty interesting drive, that. Probably because she is a Tondela expert. Thanks to postseason practice last Asia Pacific Super Cup, or rather mid-season practice, in between racing sessions. And there's Jurevich getting ahead of Mazzoncini again, but it's very tight. And she loses the overtake after pulling on brake there. Attempting for an outside turn. Now she's got the inside, and she gets a good amount of gap between her. And, ooh, no. Mazzoncini says no to that. Snatching an outside overtake as well before the start-end line. And even with this setup here, both of our drivers are still in the back. Not exactly a lot there. Mazoncini with the block. Funker going for ERS already. Perez attempting to take over her teammate's spot. Mazoncini with some pretty good blocking. 26 laps to go, and we're still in the back. Ugh! Mazoncini with the block, keeping Judovic away, but that leaves Perez with an outside overtake. And now things have switched out a bit. Perez up to 15th, Judovic up, or Judovic still at 17th. Somebody's, yeah, Hornblatt went for an early pit change here. A bit too early, in fact. I'd have to switch out things here as they go. If we can get out of this rear line, it would give us a chance to at least get some points in, right? 25 laps remaining. The chairman is still not happy. It with an ERS push. Couldn't overtake past the Garuda Racing drivers. Jurovic, meanwhile, still stuck in the back. But, oh, wait, what? Oh, Funker is now in the back here. Just came out of the pit lane. Well, Perez almost got that overtake, just couldn't keep it on the end of the chicane. And now here's Mazoncini with a push-up again. Judovic has climbed up to 14th just before the home corner. Let's see if she can make the most out of that now. Perez up to 10th, Judovic up to 12th, as Reeves and Balkan went in for a pit change right at the end of lap 8. Now rolling at the end of the start of lap 9. Jurovic having a bit of a battle with Mazoncini again. Let's see if she can actually push out further. Now blocked again by the Garuda Racing drivers who have climbed up in the ranks thanks to the pit lane change. Coming in at the end of lap 10, both of our drivers starting to look a bit nasty on the tires. 37 for Jurovic, 37 for Perez. And there's Perez jumping up to 8th, getting past Lormore on the inside just before the start-end line. Jurovic attempting an inside overtake and snatching it, but very precariously. And now it's 6th and 7th for both of our drivers. We just need to keep them on the runs for a bit longer. And then we might be able to stay, or rather just do a couple of pit changes, and then we're good to snatch the lead. Speaking of the lead, Concliffe and Goulias are currently on top with just a 2-second or nearly 3-second gap between them. They're now down to 29% on their tires. Could give us at least one lap of a change, or one lap of a gap to fill and let our drivers get closer. Now we need some more points as we start lap 11. Now we're seeing a lot of gapping here. Ooh, that's Malk in the pit lane. Now both of our drivers are in the points table. We need to get out fast. We don't have the luxury of time here. Now we're in the middle of lap 11. Tires are starting to get a bit worn out. Now I don't know if I want to pit them for fresh tires now. So we could still probably go for it for at least one more run. And Funker and the rest of the rear lines in the mid-pack are pretty close. Perez is now in 5th, Jurovic at 6th. I think I can send... Ooh, Jurovic almost lost that. I can send Perez in for 3rd, I believe. And she's the one already in red. And put her in 14th again. No. Give her 5. Just 5. It's front wing. Pit strategy should still be balanced. Can't really do much with that for now. Drudovic trying to keep third on her lap, but it looks like Funker is just about ready to overtake her. Especially on this inside corner. Yes, there goes Funker. Let's see if Drudovic can get back into straights here. Nope, she can't. Hornblatt and Concliffe still ahead. Now Drudovic having trouble getting ahead here as well. Wait, hang on. Yep, that's Drudovic coming up. Let's put her in. Fuel options, just 5. Parts conditions. Yeah, okay, keep it up. Wait, there's something I can fix here. Keep it. Yeah, get the front wing fixed and keep it balanced. Ooh, Drudovic not having a good time right now. She's now up to 4th. Perez down to 14th. Could use a bit more work here as Drudovic is losing speed significantly. She's now down to 5th. She will lose the spot here. Just get out and into the pit lane. Drudovic will lose her 3rd place spot here as she goes for a change. We really need better pit crews to take advantage of all these longer gaps. And there was a mistake with the refueling too. And now Drudovic is down to 16th. And conserve the tires a bit more, keeping the tire wear up while the temperature is still pretty okay. Drudovic going for some push-ups here. Let's make Perez use the ERS a bit. 18 laps to go. We could go with just one more pit change, but we need to be fast here. We need to close the gap a bit more so that we'll have a bit more elbow room to maneuver, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that. Drudovic stuck in 16th. What? Oh no, Mock has crashed in Sector 1. That's another bad off point. Hopefully that's going to be helpful in getting us some points up and making the chairman a bit happier. Oof, where that smoke come from? Drudovic is now up to 15th. Perez up to 12th. Let's see if we can actually get something out of that. "17 laps to go. Both of our drivers still in the back. 4 cars have already crashed here in Tondela today. Now we really need to get back into things. And now Mazzoncini is trying to get away from Perez as much as she can. Drudovic almost got banged up over there. Oh wait, it's Norland that got ahead. Drudovic is the one behind Mazzoncini over here. And she's really starting to get some laps up. Now there's Drudovic up to 14th. Funker being between the 2 drivers now. 16 laps to go. Bit of a traffic jam for Perez. Almost got the overtake on Norland though, but the late braking did have some consequences. Kind of missed the racing line on that one. Drudovic still at 14th. Funker still ahead of her. Still having trouble getting into it. We might see some tire changes up here. Yeah, there's Pacerni now going in for a pit change. Kohi might also be switching out. Oh no, she went ahead. And Kohi is now on top, just ahead of Concliffe. Nope, we won't be able to get past Pacerni on that out lane. Judovic still at 14th, Perez still at 12th. Still no chance of getting points out here. And Chairman will definitely be unhappy about the results so far. Unless we can finally, how shall we say this? We can probably, pull a wing out of this. "14 laps to go. Tires are still pretty decent. Tire temperatures might need to be pushed up a bit, though. It's Perez going a little too early on the braking. And now we overtook Lormore, who went into the pit. Perez is now at 10th. There she goes with some ERS on the runs just to keep it Norland. Speaking of ERS running, that's Funker on the overtake. Perez with the overtake as well. Seeing some pretty good runs on the straights there. Couldn't keep it against the Silva Mello though. And Drulovic is still at 12th, having a bit of trouble getting back into things. 13 laps to go. Perez now up to 6th. She's now sandwiched between Picerni and Ramsey. If she can come up to the top, we can probably have her do a rather quick pit change sooner or later. Judovic now at 10th. He's only got 5 laps of fuel remaining, and her tires are still at 61%. Pretty good tire wear so far. Tire temperature is also pretty decent. Now we're starting lap 21. 12 laps to go, and we're seeing some pit changes here as well. Picerni has gone down into the lines up. Chudovic is at 8th. Perez at 4th. Hornblatt and Gulyas still on top with a 4-second gap from Gulyas. Gonna be a bit close for comfort. I'm probably gonna send Perez in for an overtake after 2 laps maybe. Or put her in pit change. Ooh, Judovic got overtaken by Golhi now. 11 laps to go. Perez still at 4th. I don't know if there's any... Gulyas might be switching out in a couple. Ripes, that's Norland. She's going for a rather rapid straight runs over there. Judovic still at 8th. Pretty decent tire wear so far. But there's a bit of a fight for 8th there. Funker trying to get as far away from everybody else as possible. He's now 2 points ahead of Judovic. Perez still at 40, or 4th rather, with 40% of the tires remaining. Fuel is about to go, and now there's Judovic going down in 9th again. Right, we're sending Perez in now, switching over the softs. One last fuel. 15 seconds. No, keep her at that. If we can only get better pit crews. Judovic has to get some points out there. Too bad she couldn't keep 8th, because Koi is still going ahead of her. 41%. Oh no, she's gonna have to save up on fuel for a bit. No, don't. Can we even send her into pit? Nope, too slow. Okay, let's go with this. Judovic now in 5th. Perez has dropped to 11th. She's got a lot of work cut out for her trying to get back into things. I don't think Jurovic will be able to get some points out of this. Eight laps to go, and our drivers are still in the mood for a bit of a rundown. Can we at least get the sponsor objective, or at least get both of our drivers in the points table? Well, Perez is now on top. Drurovich down to 15th. I don't think we'll be able to get something out of this. And now she's up to 12th. 7 laps to go. We need to work harder here. Bresnup up to 6th. But that's only going to keep us in 6th for now. Drurovich needs to get up there, while Perez needs to push a bit further so she can at least get to 3rd. We need those points. She's down to 79% on her tires, but she's still got a good amount of fuel. Drurovich now up to 11th. 6 laps to go. She's still climbing, hopefully. Now let's push her up a bit. Oh, she got blocked by Koi and the Silva Mello, the 2 ZRT Motorsports cars. Ugh. I don't think we'll be able to get any points out of this. Perez still at 6th. Still a good chance to push it a bit more, I think. Five laps to go. We kind of made a mistake by keeping Drurovich in the slowdown mode there. Now she's stuck with traffic and can't get back into it. Four laps to go. Perez still at 5th, but Cherny 3 seconds ahead of her. Drurovich up to 12th, probably looking at getting some past Bingham. Gonna be a bit tight on this one, I feel. Tires now down to 50%. Serve these tires a bit. 3 laps to go. Still a bit of a run here. Drurovich could probably go for an overtake if we want to. Two laps remaining. Drurovich still at 11th. I don't think we're going to get any points out of her for this one. Perez still at 5th. She needs to work harder. Now approaching the final lap of the race. And Perez is now at 4th. Drurovich has no chance of getting points out of this one. And Perez drops to 5th again. Low fuel for our drivers here. Oh, Drurovich got a 10th. But that's not going to be enough to keep the chairman happy. That's for sure. We really need to be doing better with the pit changes. And dang it, I really should have paid attention to Drurovich's driving status. I should have switched her out to hard mode early. Dang it. Well, whatever. Perez up to 5th. Drurovich up to 10th. We're still at 6th, and we've got a lot of work to go. But that work will have to wait for another time. Thank you so much for dropping by. I'm sorry that the performance today was rather awful. I know we have a really good setup right now, but we're just not meshing with it right now. I think I need more practice here. Ooh. Chairman's happiness is down to 51. What? Oh no, don't tell me she has... Why did it all drop to 200%? What's going on? Oh, marketability is now down by 1%. Ugh. And now we're in the red. Excellent. That's just excellent. Really great. Really, really great. That means no more money to produce an illegal part, but, well, at least we managed to finish it now. Let's hope we get something out of that. 12 hours, thankfully. Okay, marketability is back up to 96. Yeah, that pit mistake was annoying. What's our standings anyways? Where's Dragon Racing China? They're way behind us. They only have 2 points. Why the hell are they bad-mouthing us? 38 weeks until that one shows up. We're totally in the red. Sweet spots doesn't really work much. Still can't get super overtake mode. It's not like we want to use super overtake mode, especially since our cars aren't exactly top line right now. But I really want to get something out of everything here. Anyway, status? We're at risk, I think. No, it's just saying below target, but our job is still secure. Race management still needs some work. Its financial point is going to go down for sure. Have to make do with that. Anyway, thank you so much for dropping by. Once again, sorry that the performance was bad. We'll try to make up for that next time. Hopefully, we can avoid being put in a really bad spot by the chairman because we couldn't make the cut. Well, they were expecting a lot from us, going for third and above. But that was a bit too much, mostly because we did come up from the Asia Pacific Super Cup and we lost most of our better drivers, and we're still trying to get back into good runs of things. Anyway, not sure when we're going to come back to this, to be honest. I have something else planned for tomorrow that might be interesting. Just need to set that up for a bit. For now, if you got any complaints or valid reactions for the stream tonight, please do not hesitate to drop me a line on my Twitter or my Pixiv. If you got a hankering for the older streams that have already expired here on Twitch, please do not hesitate to check the VOD archive linked in the About tab of my profile page and also searchable on YouTube under the same username. Lurk at Work, that's work with a U instead of an O. By the way, if you're checking the stream, checking the VOD right now, thanks for dropping by. Sorry for the short run, and sorry for the absolutely awful experience you had today. Not only did we not manage to stay in the upper rungs of the driver standings, we're currently in the red, and that concerns me more than the chairman's happiness, to be honest. Gotta work on that. Chairman's ultimatum is gonna be coming soon, so we gotta get our drivers back into the thick of things as soon as possible, so that we can avoid getting kicked out of our own team. Anyway, if there are other Motorsport Manager streams you might want to, Motorsport Manager VODs you might want to check, there's a lot more of them on the channel that you could look up. Or if you're looking for something else entirely, there's more VODs that you can check over here as well. Speaking of the channel, if you got a friend who might be interested in the stuff I stream or who just wants to complain about PNG streamers in general, please, 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 I would be grateful if you can share my channel with them, twitch.tv/lurkerwork. That's all from me for now. Tomorrow, again, might be a different thing altogether. I'm still finalizing the plans for that, although we might just go back to an older title if things fall flat for that. Anyway, for the time being, Lurk at Work is RTB. If you're still in the mood, I can send you over to somebody who's doing a bit of a funny stream. What is this? It's, oh, it's Power Wash Sim 2. If you want to get some cleaning stuff done up, I can send you over there for now, but if you're heading out for the night, I thank you once again for joining us, and I'll see you when I see you. Good night, everybody, and stand by for those who are about to be sent over.